Hello, friends. uh, I want to give you some extra information about how you can add some kind of security to API endpoints. So, if you look at any real world application, uh, there will be an endpoint to create an employee. So we do have that one. So when it creates an employee, it looks at some attributes in the request body. It will check if the minimum attributes are present. Then it creates a employee. It stores in some database, right? That's what we are doing. And so employee came and created an employee, and after say like 3 days, he came back. He wants to log in. So when he logs in with the exact request body that he used to create an employee, he actually get the response. So we actually check whether his password is correct, whether the email is already present, etc. Right? He gets he logs in. But what extra thing we can do here is like when a user logs in or an employee logs in, we can actually set something like when a login happen, we can actually send a JWT token to the employee. So it's a token kind of thing, and that can be used by that employee to do further operations. Like if an employee wants to update his details, he has to log in, right? Of course. So he logs in, he get a JWT token, and then when he wants to do some updates to his information, he has to pass this JWT token, and in a header or in the body, whatever. So for example, if when we defined our update employee endpoint, we can actually set a extra check whether the JWT token is there, and if the token is there, we can check actually the token is same as the token which is generated when the login employee happened. And and this token can be, if the token is validated, then the employee can be is allowed to update his information, for example. So it is an extra kind of check, and this token we can configure to be valid for like a 1 hour or 2 hours or something, so that the this employee can use this token for his um, further operations for 1 hour. So once this 1 hour is done, then the token times out, it's not valid anymore. So he has to log in again to get a JWT, a new JWT token. He can use that token again for another 1 hour. So let's see how we can do it. uh, it's very important thing you need to know um, when you develop a real world backend applications. So the so the package I'm going to use is called JSON Web Token. So that is the JWT token. So it will give you a token in a JSON format. So you have to install npm package called JSON Web Token. Then there are different ways of signing the token and generating it. Uh, we'll use a JWT.sign. Let's see how we can do it. So if I go to the employee controller.js, if I look at the login employee, I added few fields. First, I have imported the JSON Web Token in the top here. Then I'm using in the login employee. So these are all same. We have been doing it earlier. Here, I'm creating a token. So how I am creating a token? I'm using a JWT module with a sign as a function. I'm using this sign function. So it takes three parameters here. First is the data, which we need to use to create a token. So it's kind of assigning this data, and this data is nothing but the employee information, like username, password, etc. Whatever we get when we do a find one. So you get a when a user login, he give a username, password, and mail, and we check here the email is present, and we get all the information about this employee here, and that employee details is used as the data here, and it is signed using a secret string, and I'm calling it the string. You can put any string, and that string will be used to sign this employee data, and I'm just putting it as a secret, the string equal to secret. That's the string I'm using. And I can pass in parameters like this token should expire in 1 hour or so. And I get a JWT token. So what I'm going to do is I put this JWT token along with the response that I send back to the user. How I do it? I put the response.header with this auth token field I put. This is a key value. So the header will be added with a key auth token, and the value of that auth token will be the JWT token itself. So let's see how we are doing it. So I'm trying to log in. This user already is present in the database, and this is the actual clear password. So I send it. So if you look here, the body is fine. It got the employee information, and this employee information is used to create the JWT token. And the JWT token is we have set in the header. So if you look at the header, there's an auth token, and this is the token. So if you copy this token, and if you go to jwt.io, you can paste this. Let me refresh. You can paste it in the encoder field. This is an encoded token, and the decoded value is something like this. It has a header, it has a payload, and it has a signature. So the header is nothing but the algorithm which is used to assign the token. So this token is generated using some algorithm, and this is the algorithm used. Type is JWT, and the payload is nothing but the employee information. So this is the employee information we passed along with some extra field which is specific to the token, and this is the expiry date, expiry time, it's like 1 hour, and there's a signature also. So this last field is the signature. This one in pink is the data, and this is what the header is. So if you try to change this, this thing got changed. So you can't actually. So let me take the token again. So let's copy it and paste it here again. So if I try to change any of this string, like I'm trying to regenerate a JWT token without logging, that is not possible because the signature is going to change, and when we do a JWT verify in the second stages with the other operations, it will fail. We'll see it there later. So let's see. So just understand, like you create a JWT token, you put in the response header. So you have this user has a JWT token, and we can set up something like in the API routes. What I'm doing is, let's say I have to update this user has to update his name. So he has a JWT token, and for security reasons we tell, like, if you have the valid JWT token only, you can update any of your information. So that's something we can put in the update. That kind of logic we can put in the update employee ID. So in the put, what I will do is, when a user comes with an employee ID to update with a put request, before calling the update employee by ID, I will call a verify token function. So this verify token will check this JWT token and see if it is valid. If it is not valid, it will throw an error. It won't come here. So that means employee can update his information only if he has a valid auth token provided with the request. So let's see how we can do it. So I have a verify token function implemented under roots. I have created a file called JWT token verify. So what it does is very simple. It has the request, response, and next. It got the request and response from the middleware from here, right? And then it checks. Let me go here. Okay. and it checks first the header has a auth token field. If the auth token field is not there, it will respond like token not provided in the auth token header, and it will send a 400 request, 400 response, so the user cannot update its information. If the token is present, then the next step is to verify the token. So we actually, how we created the auth token, we used JWT.sign with a secret as a string. And if you pass the actual encrypted token, and if you give the secret the same string which we used to sign, then you can verify the token. So you got the token verify, and I am just setting into a user field in the request, and if it is passes, verify token is successful. If this guy fails, then it gives an error. So it will throw like it will create an exception. It will come here if the verify fails. Remember, we have security in place. Go away, wrong token. So let's see how it is done in the Postman. So basically, I have added enabled employee update employee by ID to do a verify token before actually taking up the request. So now let me log in again. I have the auth token. Let me go to employee ID. So let me check whether this is the proper ID. ED. Yeah, this is ED. So I will go to update employee. First I will try without an auth token. I will change name to Steph123. So what happened is I'm calling the API contacts put request for the updating. So the API root knows that first you have to call the verify token before actually calling the update employee ID. So verify token failed here. Token doesn't provide, not provided in the auth token header. So let's see, which is nothing but here, right? So it failed here because the token is not provided in the request. Now let's give the token and send it. So you see, verify token is successful. So actually it verified again, it came here, and token is successful. And the token is so if you look at the token information, it is something like this. So once you verify, you get the proper data back with staff and password, created date, etc., and the expiry date. Yeah, so this is how you can actually add one level of security before your endpoints. So if you need an endpoint to have an auth token present, it's a good practice to do it. So which we have done only in update employee for this moment, because I just want to show you how it works. So I'll put the code here, but I will comment it for the time being. Yeah, so thank you very much.